The Right Choice by Justina, Alexis, Michelle, and Darian. Hi, my name is Ella. I'm originally from Ohio, where I lived with my mom, dad, and little brother Steven. I love living in Ohio. I had the three best friends that anyone could ask for. But on August 28th, I packed my bags and moved far away from my best friends to attend Michigan State University. I was so upset because all my friends were going to Ohio State, and no matter how much I told my mom and dad I wanted to be a Buckeye, they told me Michigan State was the right school for me financially because I got a scholarship there. I was really worried that at MSU I wouldn't make any friends. But I was wrong. I got super lucky with an awesome roommate named Liv, who's still one of my very good friends to this day. 4 days later, it was the first day of classes, and the first class on my schedule was AL110. I was super scared because I looked up my professor and he got a 1 out of 5 stars. I just imagined him looking a lot like, well, the devil. But of course, I went to class. Then my professor walked in looking strangely normal. Okay, well, he was bald, but strangely normal. And he assigned us our first project on the first day of class. The assignment baffled me. He gave us no instructions on what to do or accomplish on our projects. This made me super nervous. I had come to college to get good grades and a good job, but I didn't know what it took to get good grades. I decided to focus more of my time on more important classes like math, and, well, I kind of BS'd my English paper, and I ended up getting a not so good grade on it. And not only did I get a poor grade, my professor sent me an email requesting to meet up about my project. During our meeting, he basically told me he knew I BS'd my paper, but he said it nicer, like, why don't you dig deeper? And he gave me a second chance. The question of Project 1 was, tell me about a time you had to unlearn something. Trying to think of what unlearning meant basically left me with one thought. So, what is unlearning? Well, you can learn through reading and studying. And you can also learn through teachers and them shouting random math symbols at you. But all of that is learning. And I couldn't come up with an idea of how to start to unlearn. My professor just told me to start with what I know. Well, I know that 1 plus 1 equals 2, and I know that honesty is the best policy. And as I kept writing down all these things I knew, I realized I knew a lot of things. But the thing I wanted to write about was reasons I went to college. I knew I wanted to go to college because my mom told me to. Good grades equaled a good job in my future, and it was always just something I knew I had to do. But I couldn't help but ask myself why I was so upset about going to Michigan State over Ohio State. In my head, I thought I wanted to go to Ohio State for all the right reasons. But in reality, I couldn't think of any cons to being at MSU. I was afraid of a lot of things, like having a bad roommate, or no friends, or a bad major, or a lot of other things. My project was going in the direction of why I chose state, but then I came up with the idea to research how other college kids felt about their first semester. I did some research and I found out there are a lot of kids like me. About 50% of these people knew their major going into college, but only 56% of these people kept their major until the end. 58.5% of students went to an in-state school, and 41.5% went out of state. That number surprised me because who would want to leave home? The majority of people don't know a lot of people going to college, and 18% like me didn't know anyone. And like most students, I got pretty lucky with my roommate and was a part of the 58.2% of students who had a beyond average experience with their roommate, where only 10.9% reported having a really awful experience. Their roommate was probably one of those horror roommate stories where they try to kill you in the middle of the night or something. Anyway, getting back to the conclusion of my paper, by exploring why I've actually come to enjoy my time here at MSU, I realized I did it through unlearning. No one gave me a book or an article and said, hey, read this in order to know why you like it here at MSU. No, it was through the surprising, amazing experiences with my roommate and other friends, and a teacher who really challenged me to dig deeper and more thoughtfully than I ever have before. It was these things that added up to why I'm happy here. Oh, and when I turned my paper in the second time, I got an A+.